Google Pest Control Marketer. Grow your business like never before. Call 770-993-0004.
Well, hello, folks. This is Hal Coleman, the Pest Control Marketer, along with Mike Stewart, Mr. Online. And welcome to another episode of Pest Control Marketing Live and the Pest Control Marketing Podcast. This is actually the only live streaming TV internet show totally 100% devoted to helping you, the PCOs, WCOs, and other small businesses get more customers, increase your sales, and make more trips to the bank. How are you doing today, Mike?
Oh, I'm excited. I don't like to timestamp podcast, but I will. We're recording this a few days before the Christmas of 2021, and grandkids are coming, and it's really been a great year in a lot of ways. It's been a crazy time last couple of years, but we've accomplished a lot, especially reaching out to new PCOs and seeing some more success stories. And one of the things I remember when the COVID pandemic really hit over a year and a half ago, or about a year and a half ago, I thought, what's that going to do to business? What's it going to do to what you and I were doing? And I'll tell you what, people went home, they found bugs, and
Yeah.
and they went and they got on their phones and they went to Google, and they wanted to have something done about it. So I'm very grateful. We've had a very successful time during this period, and I'm just hoping for 2022, when it comes up here after the holidays, that it just gets better and better for everybody, and that people have a little more normal life, because it has been a little strange for a lot of people, and a lot of people didn't fare as well. So I'm very grateful for our customers and for us, and I hope things get better for everybody. So when you say, how am I doing? I'm doing great. I'm glad to be here, and I'm glad to be here with my brother. And I'm excited about today's show. So why don't you go ahead and start talking about it?
Me too. I'm excited. One of the things that people are going to benefit from on a show like today with our guest is, I tell people, as you have before, that how a small little bug guy can be successful in internet marketing. And we're blue collar guys in the pest control industry. We have a tendency to be technophobes to a great degree, and we don't embrace new things as much as some other people do in professional industries, and such as medicine or maybe law or accounting, because you have to stay on top of all the changes. But here we just put our noses to the grindstone and work hard and take care of our customers, and we do it with blood, sweat, guts, and hard work, and that's who we are. But people struggle sometimes. People talk to me about my program and about how they'd like to bring about some positive changes in their business as far as growth, and they want to get that business going so they can build a good retirement down the road, or a good legacy for their kids to take over. But they're a little timid, or sometimes afraid of the changes they're going to have to make, the obstacles they're going to have to overcome to break out of the mold that they're in. They're doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result is insanity. So I like to say that success is becoming comfortable being uncomfortable. Mm-hmm. And that's where people run into a problem. So our guest today, I thought the people will really benefit from hearing his story and what he's done in this past year. Damian Niquette, his company is Evo Foam Pest Control. He's out in Georgetown, Texas. And Damian is really no stranger to the industry, because he worked for another company, a large company, and was a manager. He managed a sales team, actually managed people doing door-to-door sales. And but his expertise was not really in sales; it was in management. And so when he came to me, he indicated that he wanted to learn more about how to sell and market his business. And he has a successful business, but wanted to take it to the next level. So, and I asked him if he would like to come on and talk about some of the obstacles that he's faced and overcome on this little journey. So why don't you go back to the green room and tell him to put down the champagne and caviar for a minute and step out here with us, and let's introduce Damian to our audience. Hello, Damian. How are you, sir?
Good. How are you guys doing? How you doing, Mike?
We're great.
You heard my little introduction there, and I'm so excited every month when you and I sit down for our sessions together, because I always know you're like a sponge. You soak up this stuff, and then you just go right out and you implement things.
Yes,
And
sir.
that's a struggle for some people. We work with them and we try to get them to implement new things, but that's very, very difficult for a lot of reasons. I mean, with some people, they can't do videos because they're afraid of a camera. It's performance anxiety to a degree, and others aren't really comfortable being face to face with people, and they are great when it's talking about service, but not sales. And so, if you could just kind of maybe pinpoint a couple of the obstacles that you've overcome in order to implement change within your company and learn new things and go out and actually implement them.
Yeah, absolutely. So from my background, I'll back up. So I started as a technician in the industry probably about 14 years ago. So I kind of started from the bottom, so to speak, worked my way up into management. I was a service manager, general manager, regional manager. Then I was on a quality assurance team, and then left that company and then ended up starting this company. And there's a lot more challenges now as a business owner now, because working for other companies, they already have protocols and procedures and policies in place. So all you have to do is learn the systems, which is, fairly easy. But when you're the guy having to implement all those things for your company, that brought another whole challenge for me. One of the biggest challenges that I've had has been, I feel, sales. And I remember back when we first initially spoke, when I reached out to you, you had me fill out your questionnaire that you do for all your potential clients. And then we met for your free hour session that you offered me. And we spoke about all those things that you had me answer, and we went over them line by line. And the biggest challenge for me has been, well, initially you said some questions. What's your revenue? How you're doing? I gave you a snapshot of the company, and you said, well, you're doing pretty well, and you're kind of curious, well, why are you reaching out to me? And I said, well, I want to do better. And you immediately recognized that you can do a lot better. And the biggest challenge I've had, and I'll back up to when I built my initial website with a company that I hired, I pretty much did all the content. Well, I'm not a writer, I'm a bug guy. So getting all that, on paper and then creating a website for the world to see, I didn't write things properly. People that, we're bug guys, so we can have conversations and we understand each other. But with, general public reading that, it's confusing. So I didn't do a very good.
You don't want to put terms like "kill that sucker" on your website.
Yeah, absolutely. And my problem was, I felt this, and I've learned a little bit, obviously learned this from you guys, is that I was being too technical. People don't understand that. I thought, oh, well, this is really good. I like what I said here, but it didn't translate into sales. Okay. I think I got traffic, but I wasn't getting the phone calls. Okay. And it really throughout the years, I've mentioned, I've followed you guys for some time now, at least 5-6 years. I've been following you guys or more. And it, I made the mistake of hiring an SEO company. Then I hired another SEO company, paid them even more money. And in the back of my mind, my gut feeling was that I knew I shouldn't be doing this, and I did anyways. And I think it leads into decisiveness. And this is your last podcast that y'all did last week, and you were going to have me on that, but unfortunately our schedules didn't mesh. But what I've learned, if this makes any sense, is to be less decisive and to be more decisive at the same time. And what I've done to help myself improve through y'all's coaching as well, you writing content for me and sales letters and scripts, and that's been invaluable for me. Mike teaching me the audio and video. But what I've done differently now is recognize that I need to sell myself rather than my service. And being, so what I've done is, when it comes to making decisions, I've done something that's still elementary that we all have been taught, but we all forget about, is a pros and cons list. I write everything down on paper. I never did that in the past. Well, I did do that in the past, and I stopped doing it. So when I made all these big decisions to hire companies to help me grow my business, I wasn't really, I kind of briefly discussed the pros and cons, but I wasn't writing it down. So when I started writing down the pros and cons list, then I brought in my management team, and then I had them write a pros and cons list, and then we would go over everything together as a group. We made really good informed decisions then. And I didn't do that, and I knew I should have been doing that, and I didn't do it. I was being decisive about it. I was being decisive about picking up the phone and calling you initially, like I wanted to do for the last few years, and I didn't do it. So I've learned to be less decisive, and then also more decisive too, by writing that pros and cons list and discussing it and making better informed decisions.
Yeah. I don't know who said it, but I repeat it a lot, and that is, anything worth doing is worth doing poorly until you learn how to do it well. But if you're waiting to get your ducks in a row, you know a little bit about ducks. You hunt. When ducks
Right.
aren't doing anything, aren't going anywhere, they just mill around,
That's right.
But when they start going somewhere, they get in a row. They walk in a row, they fly in a row, and they swim in a row. So if you want to get your ducks in a row, you got to start moving and start doing things, even if it's not exactly right. You just keep doing it, and the ducks will fall in line and get in a row, and it gets better and better until it's where you want it to be. But it's not going to start out like that.
No, not at all. Not at all. It's been very clear to me that through watching y'all's podcasts and following you on different Facebook groups and whatnot, it made complete sense. Why would I not spend my money with coaches, mentors now, right, and learn how to market myself? That's invaluable.
Yeah.
Through you guys, I'm learning to market myself. Mm-hmm. That's something that nobody can ever take away from me. Now with the SEO company wanting to shut me down or take my money and not do anything with it, it was very clear to me that it was a better direction for me to go, was to hire someone that can mentor me and teach me all these tools and audio, video, learn you helped me implement a revenue contest with my employees. We put on the last two and a half months, we put on an extra $15,000, $20,000 in revenue. I wouldn't have done that without your coaching. So to me, it makes a lot more sense, and I've proven it already in the short amount of time. You guys have paid for yourselves 2-3 times easily, just in the first couple months. It's very clear that I need to spend my money on coaching rather than SEO.
Well, see, one of the things that we do, and I think I explained this to you in the very beginning when we talked about the coaching, is that my goal is to teach you how to be a world-class marketer of your business, so that you don't need anybody else telling you how to market the business. You've learned how to do it with companies. Well, with things like SEO, pay-per-click, a lot of these things, they're doing it for you.
Mm-hmm.
But when you decide you don't want to spend the money on it anymore, or if you get upset with them or whatever, and you quit paying, it all goes away.
Mm-hmm.
So they take it away.
Right.
And they might explain it in the terms of a baiting system versus a liquid treatment. If you quit paying for the baiting system, they come out there and pull it out of the ground and take it away, but they can't come and take your Termidor treatment away.
That's right.
It's in the ground. It's in the ground. So,
yes, sir.
So if you decided to sell your pest control business and go into the dog grooming business, or become a hunting outfitter and a guide, you would just simply take everything that you've learned with you and apply it to that business. And nobody can ever take away that knowledge of how to market your business.
Yeah, that's right. And I would say for anyone that's, this is not the most comfortable thing to do. I'm nervous right now. I'm working through all these things, but you can't be scared to fail. You can't be, you're not failing. I know I'll get better and better at it. My quality of my videos and the audio podcasts I've been doing have been getting better and better. But you have to let yourself be uncomfortable at times. I can look back at throughout my career. I went in the military out of high school. And that was comforting for me, because it was really easy. Growing up as kids, we're always told what to do. Our parent, mom and dad tell us what to do every day. And at 17 years old, when I graduated high school, went in the military, it was really easy for me to just transition into that in the military and just keep being told what to do every day. It was easy, but I look back in my career thus far, it was the moments that I took myself out of my comfort zone and did something that I couldn't even, to this day, I can't believe I made those decisions and took those chances, those risks, and they've greatly paid off for me.
Yeah. I worked for another pest control company. I worked when I got out of college in 1974. I went to work for the state of Georgia as a regulatory pest control inspector. Did that for 10 years. Then I went to work for a large independent pest control company and did that for 6 years, and then went in business for myself. I never managed a company. Okay, I was in service and then sales, but I have had several clients in the past who did manage other companies. I'm tying this back to something you said earlier. They managed a team, or they managed a branch, or maybe they were a supervisor, whatever. They were making hiring decisions, firing decisions, equipment purchase decisions, materials purchases. All of this they were doing. They had a budget and everything. And it was all somebody else's money.
Right. Yeah.
And the day you wake up one day and realize that today is the first day of being in business for myself, and I can't tell anybody to go fire this guy or hire this guy or how much. This is all my money, and it all rests on my shoulders. And the bottom line is me. That's a scary feeling.
It's very scary.
And you don't look back, you know. I mean, I've known some people who they think that the owner of the company is making a fortune and getting rich at their expense, and they decided that he's no smarter than they are, and they're going to go out and do it themselves. And they come, you know, they go for a year or 2, 3, and they come back with their tail tucked between their legs, and they're working for the company again. I can tell you from 48 years in this industry, watching people do that, the people that go out and do that and come back with their tail tucked between their legs are the people that think they know everything there is to know.
That's right.
And you can't tell them anything.
That's right.
They already know it all.
Right.
And the ones that succeed, like you, are the ones that say, hey, I need to know more than I know now. There are things that I don't know that could help me, and I need to find out what those things are, and then implement those things that could help me, because I don't know everything there is to know, and I need help. And that's the biggest difference. You know, they say a difference between a rich man and a broke man is a rich man makes it a point to learn everything he can from everybody he comes in contact with, and then he uses that information to better his life and his business. Yeah. And a broke man's not interested in learning anything from anybody because he already knows everything.
There you go.
So
yeah.
So one of the big keys to success, like for you, Damian, and so many others, is you have to be a good student.
That's right. Yeah, absolutely. You have to be a sponge, and that's something that I recognized at a pretty young age. Actually, I'm very self-aware. You have to be self-aware. I know I don't know everything. Even if you do something well, there's a good chance you can do it better. And that's what I would always suggest to anybody, because we all subconsciously, we all know where our strengths and our weaknesses are. I know I've done just about every job in this industry. I have some experience, whether it's sales, office, technical, management, I've pretty much done it all. So I have a very clear understanding where my skill set is, what I'm good at, what I'm not good at. And one of my weaknesses was sales and marketing, and I was spending a lot of money with that SEO company that I hired. I went out and you guys talked about this many times. And a lot of guys and gals make this mistake, is that you go out and you spend all that money on getting a pretty website, and I was spending a lot more money a month with the prior company that it will be nice that we terminated our agreement together. Then I hired you and Mike. And I wasn't getting any more results than I pretty much was getting on my own. Now their argument, and it'd be a fair argument, well, what if you would have stuck it out longer, and maybe you'd have got better results? Yeah, but maybe I could have got a little bit better results, but I still was spending way too much money every month for what I was getting, or probably what I was going to get out of it. And I wasn't going to own it. I wasn't marketing myself. That to me did not make any sense whatsoever. And it just made so much more sense to spend, and here's the thing, a considerably amount less money a month with you and Mike than what I was spending previously. And initially we've only been at it for about three months, Mike?
Three or 4 months. Yeah.
3-4 months now. So I'm just kind of getting my feet wet, learning audio, video, how we're doing our coaching together, recognizing the low-hanging fruit, things of that nature. I'm starting to implement things. So, we're just breaking ground, so to speak. And I already have increased my revenue by a lot. And we're just getting started. So that's what's exciting for me. And just knowing the fact that I own that marketing, those YouTube videos, that podcast, that's all mine. I can't, that's not going to go away unless I start filming YouTube videos and start cussing all the time or do one naked. I am not going to do that anytime soon or anything. They're not going to take it down, right? So that's not going to be lost. So for me, it just made much more sense to spend to invest my money really on myself, my company, and I was right. It's working.
Yeah. It's every company needs a name and a face that people identify with. And one of the first examples of this I recall is it's been 30 something years ago now, when Lee Iacocca took over the Chrysler Corporation that was failing and turned it around. And every night you would see him on the TV get up from behind his desk and walk around to the camera and say, "Hello, I'm Lee Iacocca, president of Chrysler. And here's this guy talking to you just like he's sitting in your den with you with a cup of coffee or a bourbon, and he's telling you about Chryslers, and then at the end he says, bottom line, if you can find a better car, buy it." And people just took that as just, here's this guy being dead honest. And that was really the first time a CEO of a big corporation had come out and gone public, and he became the name and face of Chrysler, just like Dave Thomas did with Wendy's and Colonel Sanders in the old days with Kentucky. Now, I'm not talking about this new Colonel Sanders, okay? No, I'm talking about the real, but the people who come out and say, "Hi, this is who I am, and this is my business, and I would like to do business with you," and building that relationship. And because if there's not a name and a face attached to your company, then it's just a lifeless, soulless corporate entity that people have no attachment to whatsoever, other than a monetary exchange for goods. But when you become the name and the face, now you build a relationship. Have you yet showed up at somebody's house and they come out smiling and say, "Oh, you're the guy on the video"?
I have. I have. It happens more on the phone.
Yeah.
And they'll say, and it's happened to me a few times recently, because we've just been doing this for a short time, but it's already happened at least, 4, 5, 6 times already. And they're like, "Oh my God, I can't believe
it's you,
Damian. You're the guy that I watched on the video." It's like, yeah, I go, "Yeah, I'm that ugly guy you watched on the video." And then we always laugh, and and that's what one thing on one point I want to make is that's helped me tremendously and change my thinking on how to sell through you guys' help and your coaching, is that and being the face of the company is so important for us small operators, for sure. The difference is that years ago, when we were taught sales when I worked for a large company, you take the call, "Hey, this is Damian, blah, 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 blah." And you go right through. "Well, I'm gonna de-web, I'm gonna remove cobwebs, wasp nests. We're gonna treat entry points. We're gonna treat in the yard. Are you familiar with the weep holes on the house?" And you would go through this whole sales script, right? And the difference is now, through the help of your script that you wrote for me, Hal, and I don't follow your script to an absolute T. I've taken bits and pieces out of it, and I use some of it. I know.
You have tampered with my
I tampered with it. Well, just because you have to, the conversations all go different directions.
You got to put your personality into it.
You have to put your personality into it. And I didn't want to sound so scripted. So you have to put your personality into it. But the difference is now is that I'm not saying, "Well, we remove this and we do this and we do that." The difference is now is that I'm qualifying my business and myself. And that's all I need to do. I would say unless they really ask and they dive into it, I've already got them sold and scheduled and on the schedule. And they don't even really know exactly the applications, exactly what we're going to be doing when we go to their house. We'll explain that when we get there, of course. But over the phone now, I don't have to do that. I spend my time qualifying my company.
And when they call you and they say, "Oh my God, you're Damian," see, they already know you before they ever talk to you. They already know you because your video and your podcast has started that relationship process. They already know you and like you, and to some degree trust you before they ever even talk to you.
That's right.
And that's the power of the internet and video and podcasting, to allow you to build those relationships before you ever arrive at their home.
Yep.
And we got a lot more of that stuff to learn too, because there's so many ways to use. Once you know how to create a video, then it's not just for you to. There's all kind of ways to use them. But
I want to interject something here, because I really first off, Damian, I want to really compliment you. You're a doer. You take action. That's where most of the people that have failed in the past is they get a mindset that I'm not comfortable doing that. I don't like doing that. I hate doing that. I don't want to do that. I don't believe I need to do that. I've heard every objection. And the difference that I was really impressed with you is that you said, okay, I'm going to put all that negativity to the side, and I'm going to trudge through and do it to the best of my ability. And you know what? You keep getting better at it. And I noticed something early on when you first came on. You said that you paid all this money to other companies to get the result that you wanted. I mean, that was the whole thing was. But you see, that's the tendency that something that was interesting that you said you followed us for years, yet you paid somebody and you were hoping to trade money for results. And I want to point out that the thing is that we're not a done for you. We're a done together relationship.
Yeah.
And the thing that, I've heard in internet marketing for years, when you do what others don't, you can become the authority. And there's no other pest control companies in your marketing doing a podcast, maintaining a YouTube channel. The inclination and the tendency is like, let me find somebody, pay them money, get me results, and let me go back to what I've always done. And I just wanted to compliment you and point out the fact that you're willing to do things differently. Here in 120 days, you're seeing some results. That's huge.
Well, I appreciate it. Yeah, it's and it's not the most comfortable thing in the world, that's for sure. But you just
I'll be honest with you. If me and Hal say it over and over again, and you probably heard me say it to you, and I know Hal said it to you, and I'm going to bring it up on for the screen here for the people. It's 1,000 little things. I mean, when you think, we had a guy post in the forum recently in our Pest Control Marketing Gold Facebook group. They said, I have a budget of $2,000 a month. What should I do with that money for marketing? And the typical thing that people want to do is just say, okay, Mr. Marketer, take my $2,000 and work magic and let me go back to being me. And I posted, no, it's 1,000 little things, and you got to spend money and you got to spend time and learning curve. Wouldn't you agree that was true?
Absolutely. 100%.
Yeah. You need to learn how to be a marketer, be your own marketing expert. Because
I just want to be a bug killer. I don't want to learn marketing, Then it doesn't work. Not the way we do things. And so once again, I wanted to compliment you on being an action taker and being decisive. I find it fun that it took you. I think you told me you've been listening to us for years.
Yeah, probably 6-8 years.
Yeah.
Well, for a few years I was listening to you guys, though I didn't have my own company either, though. So it was different. But yeah, no,
you were worth the wait.
I fought it for a while.
Well, you were worth the wait, and that's why we're doing what we're doing right now, and that's why I know I'm glad that you're being showcased on this particular episode. So I just wanted to throw my 2 cents in there. I will say this about Damian. He didn't say, I don't want to do that. I mean, when we said you need a SERP term jingle, he didn't say, I don't want to do that. We got him a SERP term jingle. When I said you need to get a webcam and you need to get comfortable making videos and all the other things. Now we do have some done for you stuff, but the whole thing is I admire you that you didn't. I mean, I've actually had people say, I don't want to do that. I mean, we've actually had people. I remember, Hal, there was somebody just said, well, I'm just not going to do what you said, Hal. And you go,
well, I had a client a couple of months ago that he had been my client for 3 months, and we showed up on the screen for our 4th coaching session. And as soon as he was here, I said, how's it going? He said, well, not good. He said, look, he said, is there any way I can get out of this coaching program? I said, well, yeah. I told you in the beginning that if you're ever unsatisfied with it or it's not working for you, all you have to do is tell me, and you get out of the program. He said, it's not that it doesn't work. He said, but I haven't done anything that you've told me to do so far. I said, well, I know we talked about this last month, that you got to get off of your ass. and he said, I've got personal problems going on at home. I've got employee issues that are driving me up the wall. I got to get rid of a couple of guys. He said, he said, I'm just too overwhelmed with everything that's going on to implement any of this stuff that you've told me to do. He said, I haven't memorized the initial scripts you gave me about he said, I can't even say those. He said, I haven't done anything. And he said, I'd love to work with you at some point in the future, but right now there's no use me doing this. Mm-hmm. Because I totally agree 100%. I hear you loud and clear. Let me know if I can ever help you in any way, and Godspeed, and wish you the best. But he just wasn't an implementer. He just wasn't. I have those every now and then that have a long litany of reasons why they can't do this stuff. And so I'm not saying those aren't real, but it's just that sometimes people are willing to jump off of the high diving board the first time they see it.
Well, I think we all fall victim to that at some point. If we're all being honest with ourselves, it's 1,000 little things that you need to do, but it's much easier to come up with 1,000 excuses why you didn't do it or are not willing to do it.
Yep. So, also something else I want to mention. This is just a shameless plug, but Mike and I both offer to anybody who's interested a 1-hour free session. And as Damian said, I have a questionnaire I send out for you to fill out, so that when we have our hour together, I don't have to spend the whole hour asking you all these questions. I do my work ahead of time, and then we're able to drill down on some things for you. And I tell them there's not going to be any pressure for you to buy anything from me or join anything. If you want to know about my coaching program, I'll tell you about it. And if you don't, I won't. But did you find that 1 hour to be a valuable usage of your time spending an hour with me?
Absolutely. And Mike as well. And I would say anybody that's, if you're interested, do it, because even if you just did the free 1 hour, I could have took the free information from the free 1 hour and been more successful. And just being honest, I could have. Yeah. Some of the things that we discussed, if I would actually took some of those things that you told me and actually implemented them, I would have that hour paid for itself 10 times full. So, it's won't cost you anything to do it. It's a no-brainer in my opinion.
Yeah. So if anybody's interested, the contact information is there. For those listening to the podcast, you can reach me at 770-993-0004. My email is real easy, hal@halcoleman.com, but I'd love to spend an hour with you, and hopefully you'll make the decisions Damian has, and you'll see the results. I mean, we did one little referral thing, and you said that's already paid off big time, and you gotten your employees engaged, and so that's multiply that by, that's in how long we've been doing that, for 2 months? And
2.5 months.
So think how it'll turn out at the end of the year.
Yeah. Well, the thing of it is to put in perspective too, if anyone's on the fence about spending money with y'all and hiring you, is that that first 2.5, 3 months thus far, the extra revenue that I brought in through your coaching, already paid for the first 3 months for both y'all.
Yeah. Good.
You know? So
yeah.
Put that in perspective.
Well, the big thing here is I do the same thing. In fact, I remember the day I talked to you, Damian. I was sitting out by a pool
Yeah, I remember.
in a bathing suit, and I had a blast talking to you.
I can't unsee that.
I know. Well,
I didn't see it. We spoke.
I didn't do FaceTime. I'm just saying
No.
that I was having fun with, we have fun with folks, and we love seeing success. So call me at 770-826-3662. I love spending an hour with people. In fact, I posted in the group, I said, action takers win. Here's your first action. We believe in what we do so much. We'll spend an hour with no extra. Did you feel pressured like I was trying to sell you anything that day? I hope not. No, I just want folks to know that Damian is the reason he's on the show today is because he was such an action taker, and we love to spotlight and feature action takers. In fact, that's one of the processes we're doing now with your podcast is spotlighting local business celebrities, and that's a strategy that we don't just teach people to do it; we do it ourselves. So, Hal, this has been a great interview, but I think we ought to let Damian have some closing comments of anything he wants to tell about himself or his business or whatever. Let him wind it up. Otherwise, we could probably talk all day.
Or if you're ever moved to Georgetown, Texas, and you need pest control, how can they get in touch with you?
Yeah. Well, you can give me a call at 512-588-2998 or go on evophonepest.com. Or email me at Damian@evophonepestcontrol.com. One thing I'll have to say is that through this whole experience, not only do I have coaches, I have 2 new mentors, but also I've gained 2 friends as well. We talk outside of work, so to speak. We all share some common interests. Hal, you and I are both hunters and fishermen. I killed a pretty good buck this year and sent you a picture.
You did.
I think it was your son-in-law. You got a couple deer and you sent me a picture. And Mike, we talk about music a lot, Beatles and boating. You had your new pontoon boat there you showed me, and so, the relationship is it's just been a great experience. And I didn't expect to, I expected to gain a couple of coaches, of course, and get down to business. But at the same time, I've gained a couple of friends. It's just an extra bonus in the deal. So I would, anyone wants to grow their business, don't hesitate. You have nothing to lose.
Well, with that, Damian, thank you for taking your time out to be on the show today. And maybe we'll have you again when you hit that $5 million mark.
We'll 5 million sounds good.
Or whatever goal it is. But you and I'll be talking, Mike. Always good to talk with you. We've been talking like this for a little over 40 years now. We've been working together, so you mentioned it is the holiday season, so I want to wish everybody a Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, whatever it is else you celebrate. I hope you have a good one. I hope you stay safe, and we're excited about meeting new people and starting off the new year with a bang. So with that, folks, thanks for listening to this episode of the Pest Control Marketing Podcast and watching this episode of PestControlMarketing.live. I hope you have a great day, and we'll see you next year.
Hal Coleman has been active in the pest control industry for over 40 years, including owning and operating his own successful pest control business for 18 years. He now devotes his time to helping other PCOs and other WCOs double, triple, and even quadruple their businesses faster than they ever imagined. Be sure to check out his website, PestControlMarketer.com. For more information about Hal's coaching program, you can reach him at 770-993-0004 or email him hal@halcoleman.com. Mike Stewart is known as the Internet Audio and Video Guy. Since the birth of the Internet, Mike has been showing small business owners how to get more new customers, increase their sales, and grow their businesses
online using audio and video, now with iPhones and Android phones. For more information about Mike's coaching program and his online training courses, visit MikeStewartCoaching.com or email him mike@internetaudioguide.com.
Google Pest Control, marketer, grow your business like never before. Call 770-993-0004.